3, 2, 1.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. Welcome, everyone, to the City of Brisbane Parks and Recreation Commission virtual meeting. It is Wednesday, March 10th, 2021, and the meeting starts, it's 6:32 p.m. This virtual meeting is compliant with the Governor's Executive Order N2920 issued on March 17th, 2020, allowing for deviation of teleconference rules required by the Brown Act. Consistent with the order, this virtual meeting provides a safe environment for staff, parks and recreation commissioners, and the public while allowing for public participation. The public may address the commission using exclusively remote public comment options, which are detailed as follows. The commission may take action on any item listed in the agenda. For the public meeting videos, members of the public may view the meeting by logging into the Zoom meeting listed below. Public meetings can also be viewed live and or on demand via the city's YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/BrisbaneCA, or on Comcast channel 27. Archived videos can be replayed on the city's website via the All Meetings page at the brisbaneca.org/cities-government/meetings. To address the commission, when an item you're interested in appears on the agenda, you may address the commission at that time. If the matter you are interested in is not on the commission's agenda, but is a matter that is within the commission's subject matter jurisdiction, you may address it under citizen communications. Meeting participants are encouraged to submit public comments in advance of the meeting. For remote public comments, aside from commenting while in the Zoom meeting, the following email and text line will be monitored during the meeting, and public comments received will be read into the record under citizen communications. For the email, email jfranco@brisbaneca.org or text 628-219-2912. For this meeting, the Zoom link is zoom.us with the webinar ID 920-4174-1911. The passcode is 813855. The phone number for this is 669-900-9128. All right, the first item on our agenda is to call to order. Roll call.
Okay. Chairperson Ocampo.
Present.
Commissioner Covina.
Present.
Commissioner Marmion.
Present.
Commissioner Boliga.
Present.
Commissioner Greenlee.
You're muted, Lisa.
That unmute.
Present.
Commissioner Kern.
Present.
And Commissioner Sims.
Present.
All right. The next item is the adoption of the agenda. Are there any deletions, additions?
I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
I second it.
Okay, so we'll vote to adopt the agenda. Chairperson Ocampo.
Aye.
Commissioner Covina.
Aye.
Commissioner Marmion.
Aye.
Commissioner Boliga.
Aye.
Commissioner Greenlee.
Aye.
Commissioner Kern.
Aye.
And Commissioner Sims.
Aye.
Great. So the next item is the approval of the minutes from February 10th, 2021. There is an attachment. Any deletions, changes, additions?
I move that we approve the minutes as presented.
I second.
Okay, so approve the February 10th minutes. Chairperson Ocampo.
Aye.
Commissioner Covino,
Aye.
Commissioner Marmion,
Aye.
Commissioner Bolivar,
Aye.
Commissioner Greenlee,
Aye.
Commissioner Kern, please say aye,
Aye.
and Commissioner Sims.
Aye.
They actually have to abstain, don't they?
Oh,
Yes,
you?
because they were not present for the meeting.
Sorry, so there's 4 of you then.
Okay. So the next item is our citizen communications.
At this time, there is no citizen communications from the public.
Okay. Presentations. So we have our new commissioners and a warm welcome to Frank Kern, Julie Sims, Lisa Greenlee. And we just wanted to welcome you as being part of our Park and Rec Commissioner team. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very glad to be here.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep. I guess, Noreen, Sarah, is this basically with the introductions, is there something that they're supposed to say, a fun fact about them, or do we just keep going?
I mean, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but this was just to serve as a formal recognition and acknowledgement of our new commissioners and to welcome them to the commission. If any of you are inclined to say a few words to introduce yourself to the rest of the commission or the public, you're more than welcome to do so at this point, but no pressure.
Got it. All right, no pressure. Sorry about that.
I'll say a few words. It's very nice to be here. I am so excited to get to know my fellow commissioners. And I'm a relatively new member of Brisbane, of the city. So I moved about 2 years ago to Brisbane from San Francisco. I've been so impressed with all of the services and how well the city runs and how it really feels like a tight-knit community. And I just really wanted to figure out my role in helping to make the community continue to run as smoothly as it does. I'm an avid hiker. I have 2 dogs. They are my fur babies, and I try to get to all the parks. I love the mountain too, so I hike a lot there, but I just, I'm an avid reader. I work for a nonprofit heading up marketing and communications. And if there's ever anything I can do using my marketing sensibilities to help in any way, please call on me. But very nice to meet everyone.
Great. Welcome, Julie. Thank you for sharing. All right.
My name is Frank Kern, recently relocated to Brisbane last June from San Francisco as well. Very impressed with the breadth of services that the Parks and Rec Department provides. I was absolutely blown away for such a small community. I relocated to San Francisco 3 years ago from Chicago, where I was born and raised, and spent a better part of 50 years there. I served under Mayor Rahm Emanuel as a commissioner for a neighborhood of about 77,000 people. And I was really excited to join up with you guys because when I was commissioner there, I was primarily responsible for litter abatement and snow removal, and neither one of those things are any fun whatsoever. So all the programs that you guys have shared during our session with Noreen, I'm blown away, and I'm excited to get to work on all of them. So
Great.
great to meet you all.
Yeah, welcome, Frank. We're happy to have you.
Thanks.
Hi.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey. My name's Lisa Greenlee. I've lived here for more than 30 years. Most of the people who are from this community have seen me around. And I guess it's just time. My son went to college and I'm here all by myself. But, you know, like all of you, I love Brisbane and there's so much to do. There's such a rich history here. I have been here long enough to have seen a lot of things tried and a lot of things happen and do really well, and some things that I think could use improvement. But I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and pitch in where needed. And I can't wait to see how we can all work together and make some real wonderful things happen for this community that, has really suffered this last year, especially in recreation for our kids, our seniors. I'm really looking forward to the day when we can all get out and be together again. And I think it gives a lot of opportunities for us to do some upfront planning on doing some great stuff for this community. So just happy to be here.
Great. Thanks, Lisa, for sharing. All right. Thank you all. Sorry to put you guys on the spot. This is my first time introducing new members. So next order of business, next on the agenda is old business. So the capital improvement project list review and updates. There was attachment for this item.
So this item was in front of the commission at the last meeting. You had an opportunity to kind of review the status and the progress of the projects that we had reviewed 2 years ago in 2019. And for those that are new to the commission, we do a 2-year budget cycle. So on each alternating year is when we go through our CIP list and update. So provided in the attachment are the updates on the projects that the commission recommended to council in previous years and where they stand currently. Some of them are still in process, some have been completed, but the intent tonight really is to kind of finalize that list, which will then be compiled with the recommendations from staff as far as capital improvement projects are concerned. And then that would go to city council for prioritization. So it would be helpful for me and for our team to have an understanding of where the top priorities lie for the commission so that we can go ahead and convey that to the city council and identify those top priorities. So the last time we met, we left the list fairly intact with, I think it's the 3rd and 4th page of the document, with Mission Blue Center facility upgrades inclusive of kitchen renovations and outdoor landscaping and such. The Lipman Field restroom addition, bocce ball courts at the community park, turf renovation at both Brisbane Elementary School and Lipman, the marina kayak launch, the library community center study, and then Renee had proposed the addition of updating city signage. So I went ahead and added that to the list. But if there are any other items that the commission would like to see as part of this list, we can go ahead and make those amendments this evening. But I open the floor to discussion amongst the commission at this time.
If I may, through the chair, one thing that's not on here that we discussed, and I don't know if it has to be on here, but Firth Park, we still were talking about, and then COVID came and that kind of just put to the side. Do we need to keep that on here since it's something we're going to be working on?
That's a great question. So in the past, we have not included that on the CIP list because the expenditure amount was below the $10,000 threshold. It was a budget item that was added as part of the budget process last year. And then when the pandemic hit, it was retracted from our budget allocations. So we can include that in the next time that we go through the budget cycle, but it doesn't warrant inclusion on the CIP list just because of the expense of those renovations that were being proposed.
Okay, and then I have another one. I was just thinking, the little park behind, I guess, the old library. We haven't looked at that for a while. I don't know if that needs to go on here, but I was just, we should probably revisit that somewhat. I don't know if it needs any upgrading. I haven't been back there in a while.
We can include that on the list if there's specific upgrades that we want to recommend in that location.
Okay, thank you.
Lisa?
Yeah, as far as turf renovation, the dog park, just wondering what the status is of that. It's pretty bad. And
I talked to them about that.
I'm sorry, what? What? Anyways, I just wanted to bring that up and see if that's on the list.
Yeah, So that was, we took that item, it was a recommendation from this commission to City Council to renovate the turf there. And the RFP actually just went out to bid on Monday. So we're now in the bid solicitation process. We'll be doing a pre-bid site walk with prospective bidders next week. And the deadline for bids is, I believe it's the 25th or 26th of this month. And once we have all those bids, we will compile them and it will go to City Council for the award of contract at their April 15th meeting. And then we'll proceed with the renovation. So the RFP is for the conceptual design of the resurfacing as well as construction.
And Noreen, I was glad Lisa brought that up because I forwarded you that post that I saw on the Brisbane site. I took a look there myself and I didn't see any big holes. So I was curious whether those were already repaired. I was there yesterday for an interim solution while we work on resurfacing. And for those who don't know, it was like someone said she had tripped on a gopher hole and hurt herself.
Yes, so we did communicate with our Public Works Department because they're responsible for overseeing general maintenance on that site. We have a contractor that comes out to conduct general maintenance. So they did go out to the site on Monday to kind of assess what was going on. They did not determine that there was any gopher holes, but they are going to monitor any holes or divots for maintenance on a weekly basis to ensure that if there are holes that are a result of dogs digging or playing or what have you, that they can be filled on a weekly basis until we're ready to move forward with construction on site.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the update, Noreen, and great questions and comments, Lisa and Julie. So is that it? So is that it, Noreen, for the capital improvement project? We can move on to the new business. So we have two items, the subcommittee reassignments.
If I may, Natalie, before we jump ahead.
Okay.
I'm gathering, and if I'm wrong, then let me know, but it doesn't seem like there's any additional recommendations for this list from the commission to City Council. And it would be helpful for me to be able to convey to City Council what the key priorities are from this list from the commission's perspective. So if you could possibly have some discussion around one or two of the top priority projects, that would be helpful.
All right. So as far as priorities, 1 to 2 items.
So if I may, through the chair, so if the other commissioners would look at the attachment on the outstanding items, which are in blue, those are, again, in the past, we kind of have put them in an order, right? We've kind of put them in priority order, with the very first one being Mission Blue as being one of our top priorities. So for the newer commissions to understand, the past commissioners, how we've kind of ranked things, we've put that facility, because it's a facility used by a lot of the community. It's also a money-making facility in regards of being able to rent it out to the public and things. And so for us to put money into it to help increase potential revenues for the city may be helpful, but also a nice place for residents to go to throw parties and et cetera and enjoy different activities there. That's why we have it on the top of the list as being #1 priority. It's just so the new commissioners have a sense of where we thought and how we went through things.
Makes sense, Lyle. Makes sense.
Through the chair, the other thing, I like to keep that on #1, but I was looking at this. Maybe we should put the library community center study as 2, because that's going to be coming up. What's going to happen to that building? Because the new library will be opening, I imagine, in the next couple months or weeks. I don't know how you all feel about that, but we should at least start some type of conversation getting that going. What are your thoughts?
I would second that. I think that's a real important asset that the city has, and it's very exciting about what we could potentially do with it. I'd love to hear the ideas. So I would love to move that up because I think that needs some planning.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, wholly agree. We just don't want that sitting around. I mean, we want to do something with that for sure.
Well, then that way we'd have first dibs. And the rest of, well, you know, we start the conversations.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that the top priority would be the Mission Blue Center upgrades and then the Library Community Center study. Thank you.
And then I think
Yes.
maybe the update city signage, because that could get done like that.
So Noreen, with that, I guess the estimated cost says TBD. How does that process start for moving those as priorities and then to get, I guess, the estimated costs for that as part of the process?
Yeah, so we would further define the scope of what the upgrades are that we're recommending, and then have somebody come out and estimate, kind of provide us with a general bid that we could then propose in our list to council.
Okay.
This is for the new commissioners. Is there anything that comes to your mind that we should put on this list that you've seen on your walkabouts?
I mean, for me, I am a big user of the Crocker Trail, and I know that's a whole plan that we have going. So I'm really excited to see that and learn more about it. There's a part of me that's really excited about bocce ball courts, but that is just a part of me that thinks that would be really fun in the summer.
Right.
So.
Well, you want to
I'm
put
with
that
you
as,
there, Julie. I actually own bocce balls, so like I'm all in. So
what do you want to put that as for? Move it out?
So that would be Mission Blue, and then I guess like it was proposed to have the library and then the Lipman Field and then the bocce courts. Is that for 2019?
It's
that
kind
right?
of
So
a
for the-
bigger ticket item, the bocce ball, 40,000. I'm not
is.
sure what the whole budget is, but it's kind of pricey.
The Lipman Field, that's been on this list for so long, and it's I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
It's going to be way down here because we're going to have to deal with the school district. And I mean, that's why we keep it on this list, because we don't want it to go off. But some of this other stuff we could maybe move up and possibly they'd get done quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, so through the chair, the way I see the order right now is Mission Blue, it's the library study, the update the city signage, the bocce ball, and then it's going to be Littman, field rooms, the turf renovations for both the elementary school and Littman Field. Again, those are all, and then the marina there. Those are the way I see it. The last four are large items. Yes, agreed. But they're substantial about that. But again, sorry, until the point in regards of what can be done potentially quicker, sooner, that will provide some benefit. I see that. Bocce ball is one of the things I too am interested in having and have been talking about for many years. I'd like to see it happen because again, the enthusiasm on the commission is great to see. Appreciate that. And I think again, it provides another recreational activity for us when we can get out and recreate again.
Right.
When we start talking about later on about subcommittees and commissions and the facilities, the rec facilities is always an important one about where people can go out and enjoy Brisbane. So.
Right.
I totally agree with you, Lyle. And you know what, looking at this too, I think we should move the kayak under the bocce balls as number 5, because they're going to be doing that development over there at Sierra Point. So it'd be a good time to start those conversations too. Because we've talked about that for years and have kept it on the list, but maybe it's time to move it up.
Right. I think you bring a good point, Renee. I know like at the time of 2019, we didn't know there was going to be a pandemic happening. And obviously with social distancing and 6 feet apart, kayaking is also one of those things, and bocce courts and just being outdoors would be, kind of like a rearrange of our priorities for this list. So good point, guys.
So Noreen, yeah, I think you have a list now, a prioritized list.
Yes, I do. That was very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think like, you know, with it being, I guess it says 2019 commission outstanding items, like are there target deadlines or like target, you know, just to make sure that we fulfill these projects within a certain time frame?
No, there's not. There's no specifications.
Okay.
If that be the case, half these things would have been done.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Is there anything staff recommends? I see this at the very end, project.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we have our own top secret list. We're not going to.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. We do, you know, things like upgrades to the boiler at the pool that, you know, the commission might not be entirely aware of, but we are as staff, and you know, we're going to include on the list implementation of the items that are proposed within the Crocker Trail Master Plan, because we don't have funding dedicated yet for those types of things, and it will probably be a couple years to see some of those things aside from the resurfacing come to fruition. So we want to make sure that that stays on the radar, as well as kind of the Sierra Point open space and parks master plan. So we have kind of some of those more day-to-day logistical operational things that we're going to include on the list, but some of those higher level master plan implementation items as well. So the full list will go and be recommended to City Council when they review the entire CIP list for the city.
Got it. All right. Thank you, Noreen. That was helpful. Anything else for this item? Is that it? All right. I guess like, so basically, can you reiterate again, like what you'll present these to the city council? Is that what it is?
Yeah, so we need to submit our official list of recommendations from the commission and staff next Friday.
Okay.
And then that will be compiled into a larger document that will go to City Council, I believe, in either April or early May, that they'll review the CIP.
Got it. So, and you have everything from us that you needed from tonight's meeting to prep that?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, the next item, new business. So subcommittee reassignments, and then we also have setting subcommittee meetings. So we'll start with subcommittee reassignments. There is an attachment, right, that we have. So if everyone the subcommittee roster.
Yeah, typically we do a subcommittee assignment refresh every couple of years, and especially as we have new commissioners join the commission, we kind of shuffle things around a bit, and people who are on previous subcommittees may decide to hop off and join other ones given their different levels of interest and their involvement over their previous term. So what I did on the attachment was I provided underneath commissioners, I included in parentheses the number of commissioners that are the maximum to sit within each of those subcommittees. Some of them, for example, like Brisbane, Day in the Park, and Derby is a maximum of 3 commissioners because we can't have a majority on any subcommittee. But it could also be just 2 commissioners on that subcommittee. We can't ever have one except for those that are specifically denoted as just single representatives. But it could be 2 or 3. And typically, I think the way that we've done this in the past, and Renee or Bonnie, you guys can jump in if you recall better than I, but I think typically we just kind of go commissioner by commissioner, and you can express the subcommittees that you're interested in participating on. And we just try to make sure that we have adequate representation on each of the subcommittees. And then I included an additional subcommittee on there that will be a new one. I think, as I mentioned to the newer commissioners, sometimes we have subcommittees that fall off because they're specific to certain projects that come to an end. Other times we have new subcommittees that come on if we have new projects in the work. So we know that the city is going to be doing a master plan for Sierra Point open space and parks. And so we need a representative from the Park and Rec Commission to sit on that subcommittee, which will include representatives from City Council and other committees and commissions within the city. So it will be a ad hoc committee of multiple representatives, and we'll have one Park and Rec commissioner seated on that one. So that's included there as well. Happy to answer any questions if anybody needs clarification about what happens on each subcommittee for those of you that are new, but otherwise we can just go one by one and each commissioner can express which subcommittee they're interested in sitting on.
Noreen, quick comment. So I know I was part of the, I can't even remember, Sarah or Noreen, if you could remind me, I had I guess a conflict of interest in one of these because my daughter was, I guess, part of the recreation programs, I guess. So
Yeah.
Is there anything that anybody has to disclose for any of these in order to be part of the subcommittees? I don't know if that makes sense, but
I'm not aware of any specific details that would limit any commissioner's participation in specific subcommittees. Lisa?
I was hired by the city to do some restoration of the art in Firth Park to restore the sculptures, which got canceled because COVID. I still am very interested in that project. I've done some design work on it, and I really would love to continue to do that. So I don't know if that knocks me off any public art discussions, but I'm just putting it out there. I don't know what that project is, and I don't know if it's going to come back or not. So just put it out there.
Thank you, Lisa. You and I can certainly have a conversation separate of this meeting as to what that might look like and having you continue to be involved in that project, but it wouldn't preclude you from sitting on the public art subcommittee.
got it. All right. We can start with the first one, Maureen, the subcommittee for Brisbane Derby.
I want to stay on the committees that I'm on.
Okay, so Bonnie, the ones that we have you currently on are Brisbane Derby Day in the Park, Concerts in the Park, Festival of Lights, Habitat Restoration Day, Public Art, and Seniors.
Right. And I'll stay on those.
Okay.
If I may, through the chair, there's really only two that I've been working on since 2009 and 2012. And that's just the trails development, and the new one that has been brought back since 2009 is the Sierra Point Master Plan. I would like to be those two. And the rest, I will throw up to anybody else that would like, has any interest in the other ones. If so be. But that's my viewpoint on the subcommittees and my wishes.
And then Noreen, do you need, I guess, the other commissioners to let you know if we want to stay on those? You can keep my names also.
Do you want to just go in order like we do roll call? Minus Renee and Bonnie because they already went.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Okay, so Natalie, do you want to keep the same? Do you have any changes you want to make?
Sure.
Do you want to stay on the same subcommittees?
Yes.
And Laura, what would you like to do?
I would stay on the same subcommittees, yes. I've got room on my subcommittees for other people, so it's okay.
Okay, so we'll just go in alphabetical order then for the rest of it. So Lisa, what would you be interested in?
Is that me?
Mhm.
Okay. Things I'm mostly interested in would be beautification. I'd love to be on that, but there's only one spot. So I don't know. Does anybody else?
I will give that up. I'm on there, but I will give it up. You may have it.
No,
unless
but
somebody else wants it.
But
Yeah.
is there somebody else that has really strong feelings? I don't want to get it because I'm the first one.
Mhm.
No?
All yours.
No,
All mine. Okay, great.
Renee, you can stay.
Okay, the other one is events. I want to be on that one. I have some good ideas for some new events that could be fun for the town. Public art, I feel like I'm pretty qualified for that, being a professional artist. And I know most of the people who are on that committee, I get along with them well. I've worked with them all. So I think that would be a good committee for me. It's kind of a no-brainer. And recreational facilities, I'd like to be on that one. I also am leaning towards helping with Day in the Park, but I just have ideas. I don't know if I'm the most qualified for organizing that, because that seems like it has a lot of I feel like other people have better organizational skills for that one.
You
So
don't have to organize the whole event if you're on.
no. I think I will throw my ideas out when the meetings come up and then walk away. But anyway, so that's my 4 that I want: beautification, events, public art, and recreational facilities. Is that okay?
Will you put down which ones each one wants to be on so that we could write it in?
Yeah, we'll have it all printed up in the minutes for next meeting, and
Right.
Okay.
when we do subcommittee meetings, you'll get all of the information.
Okay, so I'm done.
So Frank, do you want to go?
Sure. I'm really interested in the Brisbane Derby because I grew up in Illinois as a boy. We didn't have hills. So I think that would be really great. So that's my number 1. Number 2, really interested in trails development. I'm constantly out there hiking, and I think I've got some ideas on that front. Also interested in recreational facilities. So I don't know if that's now too much help in that department, but we can talk that through. And then possibly events. And then is there a subcommittee here that's really lacking in resources that I could sign up for? Is there one in particular?
Yeah, Frank, programs.
Okay, I'll
Recreational
hop on programs too.
And
Oh, yeah.
then Julie, what are you interested in?
I was also interested in recreational programs and facilities, teen services, trail development, seniors. I will tell you, I don't have strong feelings, so put me where you need people.
So programs, facilities, teens, trails, and seniors.
Yeah.
Do we have conflicts or ones that we need to?
For the subcommittee, could I be part of the seniors program?
So that gives 4 on seniors unless Renee or.
Oh, okay, never mind. No, that's fine.
I don't have to be on seniors,
it's okay.
just to.
Hold on, everyone. Noreen, Renee renounced everything except for the senior Sierra Point and
Trails.
Yeah, I opened it all up in case anybody else wanted something. I'd give up the other 5, but if nobody wants them, I'll stay on.
Sure.
Whatever.
Okay, we'll just
Like
leave that.
I want Frank and Julie and Lisa to at least, have a chance to do more. And, the Habitat Restoration Day is really good too.
Okay,
If you'd
so
like
Renee,
that.
we'll take you off of seniors, and then seniors will be Bonnie, Julie, and Natalie.
Sure.
And then I think the only other one there might be an excess is trails. We have Renee, Lyle, Frank, and Julie.
I don't have to be on trails.
Okay.
I don't
I
either.
promise
I'm
you
flexible
still
as well.
have I promise there will be opportunities still to weigh in as a commissioner.
Oh,
even though
yeah.
You're not on that subcommittee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because, we meet in these subcommittees, we do the brainstorming, and then we come back and report, what happened in the subcommittee and get your feedbacks too, that the commission will give us.
Definitely.
We just kind of do the groundwork for it.
Yeah. Kind of be the liaison and report back. Yep, exactly, Renee.
And you guys, I'll say one other thing. I do a lot of events and promote events through my job. So I'm not chomping at the bit to do more of that, but I am really good at it. So if you're having an event and you're like, how should we promote this? How could we generate some media interest or whatever? Definitely come to me. I'm happy to help with that.
Great.
Did you get put on events?
No, she
I-
didn't.
You don't want to be?
I'm happy to. And especially if you need someone from that perspective, I'm happy to lend that expertise.
We'll put you to work, Julie.
Okay.
I guess we should have did like a draft pick, where we all picked one first instead of saying we want this file. Yeah, so sorry about that.
No.
Yeah,
Did you, I'm sorry, Julie, did you get on the day in the park?
I did not.
This is a great.
That needs all kinds of,
If you love events.
Well, they're
Yeah.
combined, Brisbane Derby and Day in the Park. They're
I
They're
think
all
the
together.
park and the Derby, it really needs some new blood, and it just is dying in attendance. And I think that's one that I think you could really help. I'm just going to throw your hat that direction if possible. I don't know who's
Yeah.
on the committee. I know Bonnie and
Natalie and Frank.
Oh.
That's the three.
all right. Well,
But it's sort of more in your wheelhouse, Julie.
Yeah, but it's kind of a passion thing for you, which it's not for me. So my recommendation might be you stay on it, but flag me in. Just if you need help with PR or promotion, I'll happily help.
Julie, what about Festival of Lights?
I could help with that. I am
There you go.
completely crazy about the holidays.
Okay, there you go. Festival of Lights, because that's only got two. Am I staying on that? Because I am the queen.
yes.
I don't know if you guys know that, Franken, but for years I was the MC and I'd go out with my tiara and my fur coat and I don't know.
Oh, so you are literally the queen. That's
I was
awesome.
the queen.
I think you had your
Kind
own
of been
float,
a
right?
joke. It's kind of been a joke for a while. And then I finally, I gave it up last year because we were COVID and it needs a change. You can't keep doing the same thing. It gets old. So Anna Orgy took it over and hopefully she's coming back next year. She's our little opera song or our cabaret singer and stuff. So I think she'd be dynamite. So I'm passing the tiara.
Oh, awesome. She's right up the street from me. That's great. Yeah.
Lisa?
The other thing that seems to be a great thing that Renee's cycling off on is Habitat Restoration Day. That's a great team building community thing where kids, seniors, everybody comes out and pitches in. If you're passionate about the environment, that's a great one. Any of you guys want to jump on that? I jump on it, but I don't know. It seems like I have my hands full. So.
And that meeting, really, we only meet once a year and we set all the dates for when we do the restoration, unless we call another meeting, but that's generally, that meeting is once a year.
Yeah. I guess also that's also a good one. Did we have a third person for concerts in the park? Because we are actually in the process of basically having that event this year, and that's going to need a lot of creativity, marketing, especially during this time. So
It's up in the air right now about whether it'll be in the park or at the marina.
arena as like a
Oh.
drive-through. So, you know, like a drive-through concert.
We're still trying to figure it out. I know that he's got a hold of 3 groups that are supposed to play.
And we discussed, I think, last month. So we have like the
Right.
meetings on that. You can take a look.
Do we have like food vendors and wine vendors at those too? Oh, good.
Yes.
Excellent.
So it's, I believe, Noreen, is that one open right now? A commissioner?
Yeah, right now it just looks like you and Bonnie on that.
So we need a third.
I would do that one.
Okay.
I love those events.
Yeah.
Who's
And those
that?
happen annually. So
Julie.
usually-
It's Julie.
Julie, okay.
and Julie, it's usually, Bonnie, what is it, like a series of 5 concerts?
I don't think it'll be 5 this year. It
Not this
depends
year.
to say where we're going to be. If it's a marina, it'll be like a drive-in and everyone will be in their cars.
So,
But if we can do it in the park, that's better yet.
Yeah.
So it really isn't set in stone yet.
Did I hear that there's a Prince cover band that we're looking to get? That is pretty fun.
No,
I
I thought
know.
it was Pride and Joy.
We have Pride and Joy too.
three bands, yes. So,
Hey, what time of year does that usually happen? In the summer, fall?
We're thinking September.
As hopefully by then we'll be over the vaccine hump and we can just open it up.
That's why it's all kind of up in air.
Yeah, typically we do it.
It's such a
Typically
great
it's-
tasting event.
Usually we do the end of July and August into September. But that's when we have 6 groups.
right. And
And right now, like I say, I think he's booked 3.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. So
I
are
think
we
our list.
good with this? Perfect.
So we'll go ahead and update and then include it in the minutes for the meeting, and we'll include it in the agenda packet for our next meeting as well.
May I ask a question, please, through the chair? How many people do you have on events now?
I have 3.
Oh, and who were they?
Yourself, Lisa, and Frank.
And also on recreation programs.
I have Lyle, Frank, and Julie.
I'm filling my own out. And
We're gonna type it all up.
Okay.
for you.
I
Yeah.
know, I can't put it on my wall. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So now we can set up meetings or meetings for each of these.
Yeah, just for the new commissioners, typically we don't schedule all of these subcommittee meetings at every meeting. Some of these subcommittee meetings, as Renee mentioned, only meet once or twice a year, and usually more timely considering what the subcommittee is for. So I know of 2 subcommittees that need to meet in the near future. They are the events subcommittee, because we're going to conduct a meeting for LunaFest with the ad hoc subcommittee, including city council members. And so we're trying to get that scheduled soon to determine a date. So that's one. And we will probably coordinate that separate of this meeting, because it includes members of other of the city council and from the Lions Club as well. So I will work with Angel and each of you to determine the best time for that meeting. We don't need to schedule that now. And then the other one is, I know that the Public Art Advisory Group is looking to meet as well. Again, that's a joint subcommittee, ad hoc subcommittee with city council representatives and members of the public. So I will pass along that Bonnie and Lisa are the representatives for the Public Art Committee subcommittee, and then they will go ahead and work with you to schedule that meeting. So those are the 2 most time-sensitive ones that I know need to occur. But if there's anything else that the commission would like to schedule in the way of subcommittee meetings, we could do that now.
Yeah, through the chair, I have recommendations for the recreation programs to meet. We were to meet last month and we weren't able to, since now we've got new commissioners it'd be good to get that subcommittee happening to talk about, the events potentially planned for this year based upon having to pivot to COVID protocols and things, and or some other ideas for programs that we might offer based upon some of the restrictions. And the other one that I think would be nice to have, again, for new commissioners would be the facilities subcommittee to meet, to talk about the different facilities that we have. And again, think about ideas for the facilities moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now's the time for everyone to get their calendars out.
Yes.
And we'll pick dates and times.
So
And Renee has 3 calendars by paper. Most of us all use electronic, but some people are old school still. That's good.
So the first one, rec programs, is Lyle, Frank, and Julie.
Any proposed dates?
And are these usually evening meetings?
Typically, yes.
Typically, yes. And if we can on a Wednesday evening, because City Hall's open later and staff's available to meet at that time, better for us. So we try to pick a Wednesday evening.
I've got next Wednesday. This is gonna make me sound like I have no life whatsoever. I literally have every Wednesday evening for like the foreseeable future. So
Me too.
yes.
Well, okay, that we know when to schedule Julie, so that's good. Okay,
Yes.
Frank.
I'm gonna say that I've got every Wednesday open too for the foreseeable future.
I love subcommittees that are so accommodating for me. I'm the hard one, so this is good. I like this. Let me just check my calendar 1 second. So I don't have every Wednesday.
The 17th or the 24th or the 31st.
See, that's why you need 3 calendars, because you can have it on another calendar that's over here.
So if we can meet on the 24th at 5:30.
Yep. That sounds good.
So staff will confirm and then go ahead and send out the calendar invite to.
Oh, great. Okay.
And then recreational facilities is Lyle, Lisa, and Frank. Since Frank and Lyle are on the rec programs, we could also schedule those 2 meetings back to back if you wanted to do that. Same Wednesday at 5:30 and 6:30, we could do that.
I like that. That works for me.
Okay, then that works perfect. Yes.
Works for me.
So
Great.
what time is that? 5:30, or what time does that one start?
The facility's at 6:30.
Do we want to have someone on site with a camera? No.
Or facilities.
Like in the facility, so you can see the facility virtually?
I hear what you're saying. I don't think so right now, Sarah. I think what we'll do, we'll have a meeting, talk about things. My hope is to schedule a time to go out, because the time is changing now. Longer late night, we could take a walk to some places socially distanced to a facility, kind of talk it. But this is just kind of plan those things out, talk about those ideas.
Okay. Great.
Anyone else going to meet? No? Okay.
You're on mute, Natalie.
Actually, Jeff, do we need to meet for concerts in the park? I can't remember where we left off. Now that we have Julie.
We could set up a meeting just to catch her up, but at this time, there's not too many updates at this point, because I have the bands tentatively, and like the only thing I need to do is just firm them up as we get closer, kind of see what opens up. But we could meet to catch her up. or to see what new ideas she has. I would be open to either.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to make everyone meet to catch me up. I could just, if you have notes from previous conversations or, catch up one-on-one. And then happy to help when it starts to get time for promotion. Do we know when we might, probably nobody knows because it's predicting the future, when we might be able to make a prediction on whether it's in the park or the marina?
Yeah, Jeff, was there
I think that would mainly depend on like
tiers?
what color, like tier we're in and how many people can gather at a certain event.
Yeah.
Because yes, the ultimate goal would be to meet in the park.
Yeah.
So at this time, we can't make that. And I know, like marketing wise, I think once we put something out, even if it's super last minute, people are going to flock to like wanting to, hey, there's concerts again. So I'm not worried about like marketing as much, but yes, I'd want to get that out to everybody as soon as we know definitely what we can or can't do.
Yeah, I think what we would do is put out like a save the date to the community so that they know that regardless of whether it's at the marina or at the community park, we're going to be holding the event. And as we get closer, we could disclose the location once we have more guidance from the CDC and health orders on gatherings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess, sorry to just get into it. As far as like the tiers, if I guess there's something about like going into orange tier soon. So I guess like when would we get to decide on the tiering based on, by figuring out, like say if we get to orange, is there a plan? Like, okay, if we're staying orange, like predicting if we're in orange during that time or yellow or.
I mean, that's a great question, Natalie. I think I would love to be able to answer that. It's truly going to be dependent on the CDC guidelines and what percentage of capacity can meet for an in-person gathering. And I don't know that we're going to have that information anytime soon. I think having a plan A and a plan B and then setting a date for when we want to announce publicly where it's going to be, so that we have like a definitive kind of, okay, by this date, we're going to commit to one location or another based on what the current health order guidelines are at that time.
Got it. Okay.
Now, through the chair, Noreen, you said events should meet?
Yes, because of LunaFest. So we will work with Angel and each of the commissioners to get that scheduled.
Okay. When is LunaFest going to be? Will it be May?
That's why we're meeting.
Oh, okay.
I mean, typically the first year that we had it in the spring, in March. And then last year, because of the pandemic, we ended up doing a virtual event in the fall. And so I think there's some conversation being had around whether we continue with the fall in the hopes that we can have some component of an in-person event versus just going exclusively virtual. But that does present, not to get too in the weeds at this point, but it presents a challenge for the Lions Club in distributing their scholarship awards because they typically do that late spring, early summer for their recipients. So that's part of a larger conversation that needs to be had amongst that LunaFest ad hoc committee.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we could, if there's nothing else for the subcommittees, we could move on to the reports. So we have any reports from the chairperson. So myself, I don't think I don't have anything. So any reports from the subcommittees from the last meetings? I don't know if there was anybody that met. I guess.
Noreen, are you going to speak about? Yes, never mind.
No, it's you, Renee.
No, do you want to do it as staff?
This is
you do it as staff. You do it as.
Okay. Just to share the Renee and our Festival of Lights subcommittee met. There's a joint subcommittee with Open Space and Ecology regarding our festival tree in town to kind of make a decision around whether or not the new tree that was placed should be replaced at this time, or if we should allow some time to lapse before we make that additional considerations. So they met with Open Space and Ecology and determined that they would continue to assess the options for replacing the tree and determining what the best fit might be for that area. They did discuss the community feedback that was received regarding the new tree versus the old tree, and how we can do a better job communicating that to the residents and helping them to understand the situation, in that the old tree has a predetermined kind of end of life that we are anticipating, and that the decision to place a new tree nearby was so that it would have time to grow and mature, and could be utilized once the old tree was no longer. So that's kind of what the subcommittee discussed. Renee, feel free to jump in if I'm leaving anything out, but I think that's kind of where it was left, was that we would pursue our options for a replacement and then go from there.
Perfect.
And that was the only subcommittee that met between now and our previous meeting.
Okay. Got it. All right, next item are the any commissioner reports? Staff reports.
So I know at our last meeting, the commission had requested kind of just an operational update regarding the pool and how things are going. So Jeff is going to give us a brief update.
Great. Thank you.
So the pool reopened in the end of July, and we've been open consistently ever since. We have currently, we do registration for lap swim and water aerobics. Registration is broken up on Tuesday mornings for residents of Brisbane, and then it opens up for non-residents on Thursdays. Currently, we have typically about 80% of our participation in lap swim is taken by Brisbane residents, and then the remainder then goes to non-residents or residents who are just late to signing up. We do have wait lists for all the times, and I'd say typically I get 5 to 12 cancellations per week. So there is movement on the wait list. So I do encourage people who don't get a spot when they sign up to join the wait list, because I am pulling people from wait lists often. The water aerobics class meets Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 10 o'clock. And since we've started, the maximum has been 22 people evenly spaced in the pool. And surprisingly, every single class has filled. So even like through the colder months, or we're kind of in a cold month right now, but it's a lot of the same people, but every once in a while we're getting some new faces, and I have gotten some new interest as it's getting a little bit warmer, but that has been at capacity since we've started water aerobics this whole time.
And is that 22 people as residents or?
For water aerobics, it's a mix of residents and non-residents. The contract instructor decided to open registration to residents and non-residents at the same time, because a lot of her regulars, like it's about 50-50 residents versus non-residents. So she wanted to make an equal opportunity to the regulars in the class. And moving forward, we will be continuing. Right now, lap swim is currently just at 18 and over adults, but we have had interest for younger, like teenagers, to start swimming. So we are going to be opening up lap swim to, I believe, like 14 plus. And if one of the lifeguards deems that a swim test is necessary, or if lap swim isn't taking place the whole time, they can intervene. But a lot of the people who have had questions or wanted to know if their kids could swim. The kids are on swim teams, so I would trust that they're there to lap swim as well. And we are planning also to later this spring to start swim lessons, either on a private swim lesson basis or a group class, but the kids would have to be in the water with their parents if they aren't able to swim full laps in the pool. So right now that's behind the scenes, and we're also thinking of potentially family rec swim reservations, so like a family swim in each lane. So those are, stay tuned for those programs as we move like to the orange or yellow. Like we plan to tier like what more we can open at the pool.
Can I ask a question? And should I say through the chair when I ask a question? I've noticed people, okay, so through the chair, Jeff, I'm just curious about the swim lessons. You know, are the parents required for insurance or liability issues? Is that why?
Just since we're still in social distancing, just to keep the social distance between people from
Okay.
other households, so like the instructor versus the kid.
Got it. But in normal times, I'm going to put that in quotes, air quotes, but they would be able to learn to swim without their parents present.
Yeah, the only class we have where parents are still in the water would be the parent taught classes. So the like for babies or up to 2 years old. But normally instructors would be in the water with the kids.
Fantastic. Thank you.
I guess also, Jeff, I know like you mentioned about the, I guess like maybe after the spring or whatever tier we are revisiting on private, because I know like there's now opening up like the guidelines have opened up based on tiers of like gathering up to whatever. Would there be also a possibility of having an event for up to like 10 people? Since those were very successful in the 2019.
The last we discussed about rentals would be like, you're talking about pool rentals?
Yeah, like how we had like the birthday events.
The last we discussed was when we're able to open up like facility rentals or park rentals, the pool would fall in line with those. So depending on how many people and like how many households could congregate together, then we would have those same guidelines at the pool as well.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Through the chair, I just have a comment, Jeff. You've done a wonderful job during this pandemic, and I've heard people really like how it played out. And a lot of people did kind of like having their own private lanes. They kind of hope you keep it like that, but you did a marvelous job.
Thank you, Renee.
So thank you, and thank the lifeguards and the whole staff.
Thank you.
Any other staff reports?
Yeah, I have two. So the first one is preschool. We mentioned, I believe at the last meeting or in January, we had our preschool closed in January because of lower enrollments. They have gone back up for the month of February and March, and we are expecting to get even more in April and the spring months. So preschool's got some momentum going and hoping to continue it. And then we also have our Leprechaun chat contest, which you might have seen at Socrates read a book recently.
Yes.
The human attached to Socrates might be here. So basically anyone in the community, it's mostly for kids, but we don't have an age limit. They can build a leprechaun trap if they submit their name and a photo of it. We have little treat goodies for them for trying. And we'll have like a winner with the most creative design. So far we don't have too many, but hopefully we'll get more after Socrates wrote his book. I think that will help. And yeah, it's a fun little, it's our March event.
Sarah, when's the deadline for that? Is it March 17th? People could continue to submit their Leprechaun trap.
On March 17th. So was that Wednesday? I think a couple days before that.
Got it. Okay, great.
Maybe like the 15th.
And then just a couple of additional updates. So we've done a few of the self-testing events at the pool for COVID over the last few months. We're going to be holding our next event at the pool on the 22nd. If that's correct, Jeff, give me a thumbs up. I think that's the correct date. Yeah. So people can pre-register online to do the self-swab COVID testing. And Sarah's also going to be working on some spring events. So you'll see that information coming out shortly. And then we have our Artists Evening of Sharing virtual event coming up at the end of the month on the 27th.
Noreen, I have a question. If seniors need to get tested or people in the community want to get tested or get to their shots, are we offering transportation?
We are not offering transportation at this time. Our hope by holding the event in town is that it's more accessible to seniors. As far as vaccinations are concerned, we did hear some feedback from older residents that were having difficulty registering themselves for the vaccination because it is very tech heavy.
Yes.
Some of our seniors don't even have email addresses. So we are offering vaccination registration support. So a couple of our staff people are fielding those calls from residents who might need help with setting up an email address and getting themselves registered for the vaccine. We would love to be able to provide transportation to them at this time, but until our staff are vaccinated, we're not comfortable being in such close proximity in an enclosed vehicle. However, we are directing residents who inquire that there are other resources out there. I know Samtrans is offering free transportation to and from vaccines, and there's also opportunities for free transportation within Uber and Lyft. For older residents who are going to and from their vaccination appointments. So we're trying to route the information to them as best we can.
Fantastic, thank you.
Through the chair, Noreen, do we need to update them on the TAC meeting that we had?
Oh, sure.
Should I or should you? Since I threw you over the rail on the.
That's okay. I'm happy to just give a quick update, and then if you have anything you want to add, Renee, feel free to jump in. So the Technical Advisory Committee, or what we refer to as the TAC, were the representatives from various stakeholder groups within the city as commissions and committees and public art and Complete Streets. We had representatives from all of those to serve on this technical advisory committee as the liaisons to the consultants through the Crocker Trail master planning process. So the final meeting of that TAC was this Monday night. And so they reviewed the draft plan and made any kind of final recommendations. So the draft plan will go to City Council next Thursday night at their meeting so that they can review and provide any input. And then the final plan will come to the Commission at our next meeting in April for official recommendation to City Council.
Yes, so if anybody would like to just join the City Council meeting, just as a sit in there to show support, you know, that's a good thing. But they will do the presentation to our commission, as Noreen said. So it's very exciting. We're almost there.
Excellent. Great. All right, so the next item is commission matters. We have two items under that. We have written communications. So do we have anything, Noreen, that we received?
We have not.
Okay. Noreen, did you want to give the new commissioners written communications on how those are received? Are those just basically like written communications from the residents and then they send that off to our, I guess, the Park and Rec email?
Yeah, so if any written communications are received by commissioners from members of the public, we ask that that is routed to staff so that it can be distributed to the remainder of the commission, and so that all commissioners can have an opportunity to review that correspondence. And if it warrants creating an agenda item for a future meeting, then we would go ahead and do that. And then also if staff receives written communications, I think during the meeting, then we would share that with the commission at this time. So I just want to confirm with Jeff that he has or has not received any communication.
I have not received any written communications during or before the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. So the next item is the commission calendar.
So the three items that we had as placeholder on our 2021 commission calendar for April include facilities report. So we can kind of provide an update from whatever we have between now and then. I'm not sure we'll have anything major to update, but we could also, if the commission wanted, we could push that to a later meeting, or we could just report back what the Recreation Facilities Subcommittee meeting discusses. And then the Crocker Trail Master Plan presentation will occur with the consultants. And we had also had a placeholder on there to do the 2021 work plan and goal setting.
Got it. Okay. Great. Another item, I guess, is we had our, what is it, our annual commissioner conference. Is that this year? Can you remind me? I know we talked about this.
So the California Parks and Recreation Society holds an annual conference. Obviously this year it's virtual. It's always held in March. So it's at the end of this month and it's all online. Sometimes there's opportunities for commissioners to participate and attend sessions. So if anybody's interested, feel free to let me know offline and I can provide you with the information. We also just recently received in the office the hard copy magazine that usually comes to commissioners for the conference. So we're happy to send that your way as well. But if you have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer.
Great. And then I guess, is that it? So I guess we can adjourn this meeting if there isn't anything else.
Just wanted to say congratulations, Noreen. I read about your promotion in the blast, and it seems like it's very well deserved from what I've seen.
That's very kind of you. Thank you, Julie.
Of course.
I didn't know.
Congratulations, Noreen.
Wow.
Thanks.
Hold on.
It's about time.
Okay, so we have our, we'll have our next regular scheduled meeting, which is set for April 14th, 2021. And we'll adjourn this meeting at 7:50 p.m. Okay, is that it?
Have a great evening, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Everyone.
Good night.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.